Hello, welcome back once again. Today I'm going to focus more on the race builds using such material from the Advanced Race Guide. Looking at the back of the race builder, I'm going to go with the Bugbear. Bugbear is something easily recognized and known to many. I've really enjoyed them from D&D and Forgotten Realms and all that stuff. I'm probably most fond of them from Eberron novels and the lore from Eberron with the supplemental books and such. I just like that whole nation of hobgoblins, orcs, goblins and such, maybe half orcs, and a few bugbears in there, but they kind of brought a better light onto the Goblinoid clans, brought some of that honor, tradition, war bands, and such. So I really kind of got the most insight into Goblinoid culture from Eberron. A lot of the other systems, they're usually painted in more of a chaotic, light, more of just a random encounter and a disorganized lot, and sort of always on the edge of survival when they come to like civilized area and such, or on the borders of those. So I'm introducing the Bugbear as a playable race. I mean, when you have orc, half-orc, goblin, and hobgoblin, why not Bugbear? And if you go off the bestiary in Pathfinder, you can see that they do paint the Bugbear in sort of a gruesome sort of a tale here, as they're known as the largest of the Goblinoid races, a lumbering brute. They prefer to live and kill on their own rather than form tribes of their own kind, yet they're not uncommon to be executioners or elite guards in certain bands. But they kind of talk about the nature of Goblinoid evil, whereas hobgoblins are ordered and methodical in their evil, forming vast armies, war bands, and despotic nations. Goblins are the primal evil, seeking only cruelty and petty victimization as they can find it, be that among their own kind or against their neighbors. Yet the evil personified by the Bugbear may be the most terrifying, for they actively seek to inflict pain and suffering in the most destructive ways possible. So I guess, you know, if you're having an evil group, that's one that you can throw in there quite easily. As far as with another group, good-natured, with a sort of a very strong law alignment, you can present the Bugbear as sort of a outcast of its kind, one who seeks survival beyond the ordinary means. Perhaps, you know, as a slave, if you're thinking of things like Katapesh, if you're going to take this more as a Pathfinder theme, maybe raised in a more of a neutral sort of a setting, away from its Goblinoid peers. So you can kind of see where you can go with that. And to start it off here, I went through and made the elections as provided in the race builder section in the advanced race guide. And for Bugbear, I wanted to keep it low since the null is around, what is it, 9 points? 9 racial points? 6, okay, sorry, 6 racial points. And, you know, they're kind of in between the standard to advanced, depending on if you're going with the orc and such. So this one I got to come out to 12 racial points. Went with the type as humanoid, but with the goblinoid subtype. So we have 0 racial points for that. Size, they're medium in size, that's perfect. Base speed, they're normal speed as it's suggested in the bestiaries. Ability score modifiers, this one I had a little bit of an issue with, just because if we look at the bestiary 1 for the Bugbear, you can see they got pretty good strength, better than average for their dex, constitution. So trying to sort of highlight and show where their greatest skill sets lie in many of their statistics, racial statistics. I went with kind of a mirror to the orc, where it's specialized. They have a +4 to their strength, but then a -2 to the other side of all that, like -2 to their intelligence, -2 to wisdom, and -2 to charisma. So that's 1 racial point right there. I really didn't want to go with just a +2/+2 array, as you kind of see with the Knoll, Hobgoblin, and such. So I really wanted their strength to be showcased, since they are the largest of the kind. They are known for their brute power, their lumbering, hunched frame, the massiveness to their size, being that they're like a head taller than humans. So the +4 strength really rang true to me, even though I thought of the constitution as well. But I have so many other races that have the kind of same stats that I could do with the Bugbear, so I just stuck with the strength version of it. Languages, standard. And then on to the racial traits. The defense racial traits, natural armor, +1 to their natural AC. So that's a cost of 2. Feat and skill racial traits. They are known to have the intimidating prowess feat, where I believe they add their strength score to their intimidate. So that's a static bonus feat with a cost of 2. And then skill training, that's a racial point of 1, where they get to have perception and stealth as class skills. And then senses racial traits. I went with Darkvision, 60 feet, because they're not monstrous. Normally if they are monstrous humanoid, then you can give that to them without a cost, but since they're just humanoid, it does have a weighted value, so that's 2. And I went with scent. They all have scent in the bestiaries. It's 1 step above for the other racial types among the Goblinoid line. And even in the bestiary, they're known for that, for hunting with great skill and able to, let's see here. They're very good at tracking as well, so I think a lot of that kind of stuff with survival and all that scent would be very, very keen. Since it's also listed in their bestiary stats, so we'll with that. So that's a total of 12 racial points. This video is going to be kind of short, just because this is just a rough version of it, although it could be easily finalized, since really there's not too much interpretation needed. Everything's pretty clear and visible as far as making this a iconic race. As far as an alternate racial traits, well, Bestiary 4 came out, and they introduced a albino version to the Bugbear, known as Wikkawak. As far as a difference in CR, the Bugbear is a CR2, whereas the Wikkawak is a CR4. And they're thick-bodied, white-furred bugbears. And known to carry weapons made of ice and bone. These bugbears infest all regions of the world where they have adapted to the various climes, preferably icy wastes, and stalk windswept glaciers and frozen mountaintops. So there's a pretty good alternate one that stands out, especially if you're going to do like a Reign of Winter adventure path or something with a winter theme. That would be a good one to choose here. And how would you employ that, since they do have a lot of other stuff on top of just a normal bugbear? Things such as a spell-like ability pool, where you can use the spell Quench. I think that's like a second or third level spell to douse out flames and such. And they have something called Thuggery, where Intimidate and Perception are class skills. But in the Bugbear's normal stats, it's Perception and Stealth. They're always class skills. So there's just one different interpretation to that. And they also have the trackless steps, where they can cover their trail unless they prefer to leave it not hidden, where they cannot be tracked if they choose. So really, just depends if you want to have an albino version or not. And if you did, what I would suggest for a racial trait, if they wanted to be albino, I would give them an energy resistance cold 5. And that would replace their skill training. So the skill training for perception stealth, take that away. That's only one point cost there. And energy resistance for cold 5, that's 1 point as well. So you can easily swap those out, and now you have a Wikkawak as a alternate racial type with the associated trait. Now, I don't have anything else to add to this as far as feats or other traits, but if you wanted to, you could easily adapt those from the Hobgoblin, the Orc, the Goblin, and such. You can take certain ones, get sort of an understanding from those, and then develop your own, kind of looking at those fine lines of a balance to them. So that's all I got. I really wanted to have a Bugbear option for a player race, because I have always loved the Bugbear. I thought they were really cool, ones that significantly stood out, and are not ones that are just a constant in there, such as the Orc or the Goblin, which, you know, those are frequently seen, encountered. Bugbear is kind of a random one that you see in there sometimes as a task master of sorts, and one extra option that you can introduce to your game. So that's all I got. Stay tuned. I should have some other videos out soon, sometime. So see you later.